Thank you. It is Tuesday, it's the Raw Leadership Talk. Welcome to the broadcast on this 23rd of February 2021. I'm so glad that you're here. You could join me, your coach, your speaker, Dan Mugera, in this Raw Leadership Talk today as we continue and conclude on the topic of communication skills for leaders of all sectors. Where are you watching me from? I'll be glad to hear from you. You watching me on Facebook, on my timeline, on our page at the Africa Center for Public Speaking, or are you watching me from YouTube? I'll be more than glad to hear from you. Thank you very much for joining me. So listen to Handel Messiah, the Water Music. Within a few minutes, we'll get to the topic of the day. Where are you watching me from? And how has the Raw Leadership Talk impacted you over the years? Today we conclude on the topic of leadership skills for leaders of all sectors. Leadership skills, communication skills for leaders of all sectors. It is Carl Rogers who in his 1957 paper, The Necessary and Sufficient Conditions of Therapeutic Personality Change, came up with what we refer to as the core conditions. Now, the core conditions are very key in what we refer in psychology as the personal-centered approach in counseling people. Now, while the core conditions are being used over the years in helping psychologists and counselors be able to help clients in the best way or effective way, I find them very, very fascinating. I find them very, very fascinating in that they can also help us be able to communicate effectively with people of different sectors. They can enable us to communicate effectively with people of different sectors. So today I want us to go through the core conditions. I know in the first week we spoke about the different aspect of communications, that we have passive communicators and then passive aggressive communicators and also aggressive communicators. And then we went into communication strategy and looked at different aspects and how leaders can enable leaders become effective in their communication. And we looked at how you need to simplify your message, you need to familiarize with people, but at the same time that it's important for you to understand how to seize the moment. But we also looked at knowing the truth and developing passion and also communicating, expecting your audience to respond. Communicating and expecting your audience to respond. That was on the second week and the third week. And today we conclude by looking at the core conditions. Leaders of all sectors need to be mindful of the aspect of empathy, congruence, and unconditional positive regard. Now, I know this is used by counselors in counseling people, but how do we utilize this effectively in our day-to-day lives as leaders, whenever we are communicating with people of different sectors? And so you need to have empathy. If you are going to touch the lives of people and change them and connect with people in the best way possible, you need to be empathic. You need to be empathic. I think this world has been ruined by more people who are not empathic. They don't really care about what other people feel. They don't really get into the world of the other people and see things from the perspective of the other people. I know these are difficult things to do, but I can assure you these are possible things if we strive to become better communicators. Leaders in places of work, they issue orders. They expect things to be done in a particular way. But they don't care that sometimes the people they are communicating to, they could be going through, they are at the verge of depression. They could be going through a difficult situation. That they have a child who is sick at home. Or their relationship is at the verge of destruction. But when you begin to understand these things and sink into the world of the other, then you are able to be empathic. You are able to be empathic. Empathy is something that can be developed when you begin to see things from the perspectives of the others and not only from your own perspective. It is John Maxwell who said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so through empathic communication, you are able to effectively demonstrate the care. You are able to effectively demonstrate the care. You're able to effectively demonstrate the care. Empathy is therefore very, very important in enabling people to effectively communicate with their audience. And especially when you are a leader, you go beyond the superficial to be able to communicate to your audience in the best way possible. Today, I would urge us to develop empathy, to be conscious of the people that we are communicating with, to understand their needs and be able to move into their world so that we could be able to touch hearts and effectively demonstrate that it's not just what we want, but also we do understand where they are. And the second core condition that is very key is congruence. And congruence is about you as the communicator becoming genuine and real. You being genuine and being real to be able to touch a heart before you ask for a hand. And so when most people are communicating, they communicate with motives, and their motives sometimes may not be very, very real. People want to communicate to win others on their side, but they don't really want to be won on the side of theirs. Genuineness is very, very important because it presents you as a real person who understands things from a genuine perspective. Nobody wants to communicate to fake people. Everybody wants to communicate to people that are real, people that are genuine, people that understand what it takes to move from one step to another. So in a world that people have become so busy, that people have become so self-centered, that people have become so selfish, that people care more about themselves and what matters to them, there are very few genuine people. There are very few real people. And therefore, in the world of communication, there is a need for a rising of leaders who are genuine and they're real, who are empathic. They can sink into the world of the people who are listening to them, the world of the people who depend on them, and understand them and connect with them in a genuine and real way. So, are you genuine when you connect with people? Are you real? I know there are people who sometimes they start and they say, Dan, and I was very genuine in my communication. When I got into that particular relationship, when I got that job, I was very genuine, I was very real. But then my genuineness, my realness was abused. People took advantage of me because I was genuine. People destroyed me and made me bitter and painful. And from that moment, I stopped being real, I stopped being genuine. I don't care because the world doesn't want a genuine person. The world doesn't want a real person. But you don't know. Yes, that could have happened to you. And that could have affected you big time. But let me tell you this. That was the beginning of you losing yourself when you stopped being real. That was the beginning of you losing yourself when you stopped being genuine. And so you may want to go back. Yes, you could have detoured, but you can trace yourself back into that genuineness, into that real world, That place where you can be able to connect and communicate with genuineness, communicate in the most effective way possible, being empathic and at the same time being genuine and real. So be empathic, but don't stop there. Be genuine, be real when you're connecting with people. People are tired of deceptions. People are tired of fake. People want genuineness. People want real. And you as a leader, regardless of the sector that you are in, you can purpose today to develop yourself to be genuine and to be real whenever you're talking to people. And finally, congruence. Finally, unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard. And when we talk about unconditional positive regard, we are referring to you becoming non-judgmental. The world is full of judges, people who want to judge everybody. They have stereotypes. They have, conditioned themselves with particular aspects of life, perspective, motives, that they always look at people from a different angle, and they always judge people. And because of this, you find that people always walk in this world in fear of being judged, in fear of being stereotyped, because people have become so judgmental, whether we talk about religion or race or ethnicity or class, or we talk about, educational level or economics. People have become so judgmental. People need to understand that we are unique in our own ways, and we can unite in diversity, that we don't really need to be the same. And that when you understand people from who they are, real time, then you are able to connect with them in the best way possible. Don't be quick to judge. You don't know the story behind many people's life. When you sit down to listen, when you sit down to understand people from where they're coming from, then you will be able to appreciate where they are right now. But when you're quick to judge based on what you see with your naked eye, then you're missing a very important point in connecting with people in the best way possible. And as a leader, you can never develop, you can never become great if you are very judgmental. If you're very judgmental. So become empathic, but don't stop there. Develop congruence. This is genuineness and real. But then make sure you are not judgmental. Make sure you're not judgmental. You'll be able to help more people if you stop judging them before you hear them. But even when you hear them, who gives you the right to judge? You can only advise. You can only share your feelings. You can only give what you think is real in enabling people to move in the right direction. And so today I see nations getting destroyed because there are more people who are sympathetic than they are empathetic. More people who don't care about the feelings of others. I see companies never progressing because the leaders are not empathetic. They don't sink into the worlds of the people they lead. Nations the same, communities the same. Families get destroyed because spouses don't want to feel each other and understand each other and sink into the world of the other before saying anything. So communication is destroyed because people listen to respond. People listen to judge. People listen so that they can suppress or depress, or displace or rationalize instead of understanding why so and so feels the way they feel. It's a sad scenario, ladies and gentlemen, and I can see it even in my own country with where we are going, that we have allowed judgmentalism or a judgment mentality to really affect us in the way we see people of other ethnicity, in the way we see people of different class, or even educational level. Or we want to be judged in a particular way. And because of that, people have become fake. They want to fake it until they make it because they feel that is the only way people will judge them in the best way possible. But look, you can never push a balloon underwater for so long. The balloon will always want to come out. The balloon will always want to come out. What have you suppressed within your heart? What is that you embrace that has made you not to be genuine, not to be real? What is that you're suffering from that makes you so judgmental whenever you're leading people? That you're full of judgments instead of being full of love and just embracing people and listen to them and understand their story so that you can be able to help them accordingly. Wouldn't it be better if today you would sink into the world of the others? Wouldn't it be better if today you will make a decision to move in the right direction? Wouldn't it be better if today you be more empathic to sink into the world of the other? Wouldn't it be better if today you will purpose to be more genuine and real and non-judgmental so that you can understand people in the best way possible? Look, when you get an opportunity to lead, these core conditions, I believe, will help you to communicate better with people. If you sit down to be more empathic, you are able to communicate effectively with people because now you know them very well. And when you are genuine and real, you have congruence, then you bring out the real you in the best way possible. And then finally, when you are non-judgmental, you can make an impact. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. You can reach out through the contact that you see passing on your screen, and we'll be more than glad to connect with you. God bless you. This is Dan Mugera, your coach.